let's talk today about something that pretty much everyone who has never bought a home before, or anyone that hasn't bought a home in Florida before, or what everyone who hasn't bought a home in quite some time is asking themselves. What is the real cost of buying a home today? I mean, how much cash does it actually take to be able to afford to invest in real estate right now? All right, that's a question many people are thinking, but sometimes I find are afraid to ask. So I'm Kendall Bonner with RE/MAX Capital Realty, and today we're going to talk about the real cost of buying a home. So what is the real cost of buying a home? How much cash does it really take to buy a house in today's market? So a first-time home buyer that's getting financed with a conventional FHA or VA loan, they're going to experience various types of costs when purchasing a home in Tampa. There are three main categories of cost when purchasing a home. First, you have out-of-pocket expenses. Second, you have closing costs. And third, you have your cash down payment. Whether you are a cash buyer or financed, you will need money for out-of-pocket expenses and average closing costs. If you're applying for certain types of financing, you will also need a cash down payment. So step one, determine your down payment. This is the cash required to purchase a home. The type of loan you apply for will determine the amount of cash down payment that you are required to have. Typically for VA loans, no down payment is required. These loans offer 100% financing. However, you will need what we call the certificate of eligibility in order to qualify. Now, FHA loans, these typically start at 3.5% down payments, and that is 3.5% of the purchase price of the home. And conventional loans range from anywhere from 3% as high as over 20% and greater if you are looking to go conventional for your financing. Now, finally, if you're not financing your new home purchase, then 100% cash is required. So understanding this loan process is key to a successful lending experience. As a result, I'm happy to refer you to some of my favorite loan officers in the industry. Just let me know what you need, and I'm happy to send you over some suggestions. Now, as you can imagine, it's extremely important to determine what is in your financial comfort zone, whether you're applying for financing or paying cash. As a result, it's best to start your in-person or virtual home showings after we work together to determine what makes the most sense for you. Step two, out-of-pocket costs. What are some of the upfront expenses associated with buying a home? Well, when purchasing a new home, you will incur certain upfront out-of-pocket expenses that are not typically refundable in the event the sale is not completed. Let's break some of those down. First one is your earnest money deposit. In Florida, our sales contracts typically allow you to deliver your initial deposit, which is held in escrow at the time of making your offer, or within, usually about 3 days of going under contract, unless of course you negotiate otherwise. This is referred to as your earnest money deposit, also known as EMD. If you perform all of your obligations in the sales contract, then the EMD will be applied towards the purchase price. If, however, you do not honor your obligations in the contract, then the seller may keep your EMD. Therefore, the EMD represents to a seller just how serious you are about purchasing the home. The amount of the EMD that you submit and you offer is completely negotiable. Next, inspection cost. In Florida, our residential sales contracts typically allow you to conduct inspections of the property within the first 7 to 15 days. Of course, again, this is negotiable. So we always recommend, from our perspective, that you exercise your right to do inspections and hire a licensed, bonded, and insured inspector to conduct all of your inspections. So let's talk about the types of inspections and the range of costs. First, your home inspection. This is a limited, non-invasive examination of the current condition of the property. These will range, depending on the size of the home, from anywhere from $250 up to $500. Next up, you have wood-destroying organisms, or the WDO inspection. This examination determines the existence of past or present WDO infestation and any damage caused by such infestation, right? So it's like termites and stuff like that. These range from $75 up to $125 on average. Next is permit inspection. This is a search of the public records for open or expired permits on the property. These will range from $0, just from your own labor that you can do yourself, searching public records, up to $100 if they're an add-on by one of your home inspector, et cetera, or if you engage a third party to do so. Next, we have your 4-point inspections. This is an examination of the major systems in the home, which include roof, electrical, plumbing, and HVAC. These are typically done for insurance purposes to help save you money on your insurance premiums. These range anywhere from $75 to $125 and can be added on to your initial home inspection. Another add-on to your initial home inspection can be your wind mitigation inspection. This is an examination of the wind-resistant features of the property, again for insurance purposes. These range from $70 to $100. Another inspection, if applicable, is your pool inspection. This examines the current condition of the pool and the pool equipment. These again can range from $125 to $250. Next, we have your well inspection. If you have a well and septic on property, you will want to have a separate well and septic inspection. Your well inspection is going to take a look at the current condition of the well and the well equipment. It typically does not include the well water quality, which is a separate additional cost, all right? So your well inspection could range from $300 to $500, and your water quality can range from $100 to $300. Next, you have your septic inspection. This examines the condition of the septic tank, the pump, the equipment, and the drain fields, and can also include pumping out sewage as well. These can range from $150 to $300. So these are just some averages of the prices. Of course, it could be slightly more, it could be slightly less, but I just wanted to give you an idea of what it could cost you when you're saving up money to determining what inspections you will need to help you make the best decision possible about whether this home is right for you. A third cost is the appraisal report cost. This is another out-of-pocket expense that you will have when you're obtaining a mortgage to purchase a property. When you do that, a lender may require an appraisal to determine the home's value. You also may want an appraisal if you're paying cash, because you certainly want to make sure you're not overpaying for a property. An appraisal is designed to give you an estimated value of the home determined by an inspection of the property by an unrelated third party, and it's in comparison to recently sold homes in the area to estimate that value. Now, appraisals are conducted by a licensed third-party appraiser who has no connection to the buyer, seller, or the lender. That way, all parties can be assured that the determined market value is fair, unbiased, and free of any influence from any party that could benefit. The lender usually orders the appraisal, but you, as the home purchaser, are the ones that usually pay for it. Appraisal fees typically range from $300 to $400. Next, survey cost. If you're obtaining a mortgage to purchase the property, a lender may require a survey. A property survey is a document that shows the boundary lines of the property, including any land, structures, and features as a schematic diagram of angles and measurements. Now, title may be able to use an existing recent survey provided by the seller if it can be recertified. Otherwise, again, you as the borrower will need to pay to have a new survey done. A survey typically costs between $400 and $600. Again, if the survey or if the property has been modified in any way from the time the previous survey was done and the current purchase, you will need a new survey. For example, if a fence was put on the property or a pool was added, you will need a new survey if there hasn't been one done after those events have occurred. Step 3, closing costs. What are my typical closing costs going to be, right? So if you're a borrower, closing costs on a home are the expenses over and above the property's price that buyers and sellers usually incur to complete the real estate transaction. So closing costs occur when the title of the property is transferred between the seller to the buyer. Homebuyers typically pay between 1% to 5% of the purchase price on average in closing costs, depending on if they're paying cash versus being financed. Mortgage closing costs are higher than closing costs paid by cash buyers. So many title companies supply what we call a closing cost estimator to help real estate partners like myself help you estimate what your closing costs might be. So let's kind of go through a list of the average closing costs for a buyer with a mortgage. You've got loan origination fees, discount points, credit reporting fee, processing fee, Other loan expenses, buyer inspections, appraisal fees, survey and elevation certification if required, lender's title policy and endorsements, taxes, recording fees on notes and mortgages, recording fees for deed and financing statements, buyer's attorney's fees. If there is one, you don't need one in Florida, but in case you wanted one, you would pay for that as well. HOA and condominium association application and transfer fees, as well as prepaid costs for property taxes and homeowners insurance. Now, closing cost disclosures are yet one more piece that I want to go over with you as a home borrower. Lenders are required by law to provide you with an estimate of your closing costs. We call this the loan estimate, and they're required to give this to you within 3 days of taking your loan application. This is just an estimate though. The actual closing costs will likely vary. At least 3 business days prior to your closing, however, the lender will provide you with a closing disclosure with a more accurate breakdown of your actual closing costs. So here's the bottom line. At the closing table, the cash to close on a home will typically include your down payment and your closing costs. Please note that your out-of-pocket costs are additional cash expenses that you will also need to invest when purchasing a home, but these are usually paid prior to the closing date. Remember, buying a home is an investment. It's an investment of your time, your money, and your resources. So with this the most important and biggest investment of your life, you gotta call the modern agents at the Kendall Bonner team at RE/MAX Capital Realty in Tampa. We are here to guide you and deliver insights, solutions, and results. So whether you're looking to move to Tampa, Florida, or you're wondering about the best neighborhoods in Wesley Chapel, St. Pete, Clearwater, or in other surrounding areas, or simply just wondering about the value of your own home, we have the answers you need and the expert market information required for you to make the best real estate decisions. Contact us today to start your Tampa real estate home search or to find out more about listing your home for sale. Thanks so much. Make it a great day, Tampa Bay.